Picture the largest land vehicle built for regular commercial use. It weighs over 260 tons empty. It hauls another 363 tons of rock on top of that. Its tires alone weigh nearly 6 tons each, and it runs around the clock in some of the most brutal environments on Earth. Copper mines in Chile, oil sands in Canada, iron ore pits in Australia. That machine is the Caterpillar 797F. And here's the thing, Caterpillar holds over 9% of the entire global dump truck market, leads in the ultra-class mining segment, and has built a service empire generating $26 billion a year just in parts and aftermarket revenue. Not machine sales, parts, and service. That does not happen because of horsepower. It happens because of systems. 3 of them, specifically. And that is what this video is about. Here's something most people don't understand about industrial equipment markets. Switching costs are enormous. When a mining company buys a fleet of haul trucks, they are not just buying machines. They are buying into an entire operational infrastructure, parts, training, maintenance protocols, data systems, service relationships. Every year that fleet runs, those switching costs grow. The mine site builds its workflows around those machines. Its mechanics know those machines. Its managers can predict failure rates, maintenance windows, and fuel consumption. This is why the history of a company in this market is not trivia. It is competitive moat. Caterpillar was formed in 1925 from the merger of 2 California tractor companies. One brought the continuous track propulsion system that would become standard in heavy equipment. The other brought a functioning dealer network. Neither was winning alone. The combination of technology and distribution from day one is the template Caterpillar has been running ever since. What followed was a century of presence in the industries that matter: construction, infrastructure, mining, not as a peripheral supplier, as the default vendor. By 1962, when Caterpillar introduced its first dump truck, the 769 off-highway truck, it was not entering the mining market as an outsider. It was arriving with decades of brand equity, dealer infrastructure, and operational trust already embedded at job sites around the world. That context matters enormously when you are asking a mine operator to spend several $1 million on a single piece of equipment and then trust it to run 24 hours a day without failing. Let's talk about the 797F, but not the way most people talk about it. Most coverage leads with the size: 4,000 horsepower, 400 short tons of payload. Fine, it is an extraordinary machine, but focusing on those numbers misses the point entirely. The 797F is not a truck. It is a platform. Here's what that means in practice. When a mining company purchases a fleet of 797Fs, they are buying into a payload policy, Caterpillar's own 10-10-20 framework, that governs how the truck is loaded to protect frame life. They are buying into a tire program co-developed with Michelin specifically for this platform. They are buying into extended filter intervals of 2,000 hours, maintenance checkpoints grouped at ground level for faster service turns, and oil-cooled braking systems that require no adjustment and don't fade on long downhill hauls. Every one of those details exists to answer the same question: what is the cost per ton of material hauled? That is the only number that matters to a mine operator. Not horsepower, cost per ton. Every design decision in the 797F, the engine, the frame castings, the transmission oil circuit, the braking architecture, is optimized around reducing that number over the life of the machine, not just at the moment of purchase. Caterpillar claims greater than 90% physical availability under normal operating conditions. A truck that costs less upfront but idles more often for maintenance is not actually cheaper. That is the argument Caterpillar has structured its entire product to win. And then there is the 745, the articulated dump truck. Smaller, more maneuverable, built for soft ground and construction sites rather than open pit mines. Eco mode, automatic traction control, a cab redesigned from global operator feedback. Caterpillar does not build one truck. It builds a family of trucks from the 100-ton class to the 400-ton class, covering every haul application on Earth. This creates a problem for competitors immediately. A company that specializes in one segment can be beaten in that segment. A company that covers the entire range locks customers into a single vendor relationship across their whole operation. This is the part that most analysis gets wrong. People look at Caterpillar's revenue and assume the machines are the business. They are not. The machines are the reason the real business exists, and the real business is aftermarket parts and service. Caterpillar operates through approximately 159 independent dealers running more than 2,000 locations across nearly 200 countries. These are not corporate employees. They are independently owned businesses with exclusive geographic territories, built over decades around the local mines, contractors, and operators in their regions. In 2024, that network generated close to $26 billion in aftermarket parts and service revenue, 39% of Caterpillar's total machinery, energy, and transportation revenue. Their online parts platform alone processes over $15 million in sales every single day. But here's the thing, you can build a truck that matches the 797F on payload. Liebherr has, Komatsu has, Belaz built one that carries 500 tons. What you cannot do is replicate a dealer network that took a century to build. You cannot place service technicians within operational distance of every major mine site on 3 continents overnight. You cannot train a global workforce in the maintenance of your machines with the same accumulated depth. When a 797F breaks down in the Atacama Desert at 2 a.m., the mine operator is not calling a manufacturer in Japan or Belarus. They are calling a CAT dealer who has the part in a warehouse 2 hours away, and a technician who has seen that failure mode before. That response capability is not a feature, it is infrastructure, and this is where it compounds. Customers using Caterpillar's connected digital tools, fleet monitoring, predictive diagnostics, the CAT Central mobile app, spend up to 33% more on aftermarket services. The more integrated a customer becomes with the ecosystem, the more visible their machine's health becomes, the more regularly they order parts, and the less likely they are to consider a competitor. The digital tools are retention tools. The data is the lock. Here is something Caterpillar understood before most of its competitors. The future of mining is not bigger trucks. It is unmanned trucks. Mining is expensive, dangerous, and difficult to staff at scale. Operating at altitude in remote locations, around the clock, in extreme weather, operators are hard to find, hard to keep, and the risk profile is significant. An autonomous truck solves all of those problems simultaneously. Caterpillar began investing in autonomous haulage seriously over a decade ago. That investment now totals over $2 billion in R&D and 16,000 active patents in the autonomous vehicle space. The result is a system called MineStar Command for hauling. Here is the scale of what it has already accomplished. Autonomous trucks running on MineStar have hauled more than 8.6 billion tons of material, billion with a B, with no reported injuries. As of the end of 2024, 690 trucks were running the system across dozens of mine sites on 3 continents. In 2017, that number was 100. Caterpillar's stated target is more than 2,000 autonomous trucks by 2030. This is not a technology experiment. It is an operational reality, and one that competitors cannot yet match at this scale. What makes it a system is the integration. MineStar Command does not just drive a truck, it manages an entire autonomous ecosystem, dispatching trucks to the shovel, routing them to dump points, queuing maintenance calls, managing fuel cycles, and coordinating all of that with staffed equipment and light vehicles moving through the same site. In November 2024, Caterpillar deployed its autonomous 777 truck at a quarry in Virginia, expanding beyond mining into the aggregates industry for the first time. That site reached productivity parity with staffed machines within weeks. Every ton hauled by a MineStar truck makes the system smarter. Every mine site added generates more operational data. The advantage compounds with time, exactly the way the dealer network compounded across the 20th century. The global dump truck market was worth nearly $22 billion in 2024 and is projected to grow at over 10% annually through the next decade. Caterpillar is not alone in it. Komatsu is a serious competitor. Volvo leads in articulated trucks in several markets. Liebherr, Hitachi, and Belaz have strong mining positions. Chinese manufacturers like SANY and XCMG have expanded rapidly. The top 5 players together hold about 35% of the market. It is contested and fragmented. So why hasn't anyone unseated Caterpillar? Because nobody is competing against a single dimension. They are competing against a 3-layer system: the product platform, the dealer and aftermarket network, and the autonomous technology stack. You can match one layer. Komatsu has capable mining trucks and its own autonomous haulage program. Volvo dominates certain articulated truck segments, but nobody has matched all 3 layers simultaneously at global scale, with a century of accumulated trust behind it. That trust is not transferable. When mining companies allocate capital for new haul trucks, Caterpillar does not have to win a bidding war on price. It has to avoid losing on price. That is a fundamentally different position. The incumbent with a proven track record, established service infrastructure, and integrated data systems carries an enormous structural advantage over any challenger asking an operator to accept new technology risk on a machine that needs to run every day. Caterpillar's position in the dump truck market is not the result of building the biggest truck or the most powerful engine or winning one big contract. It is the result of 3 compounding systems running in parallel for over a century. A product platform designed around total cost per ton, not sticker price, not horsepower. A dealer and aftermarket network that took 100 years to build and cannot be replicated in less. And an autonomous technology stack generating more data, more operational experience, and wider deployment with every passing year. The companies challenging Caterpillar are not wrong to try. The market is large, the margins are real, and global demand for heavy haul capacity is growing. But the challenge is not to build a better truck. The challenge is to build a better system, and to do it fast enough to matter before Caterpillar's advantage compounds another decade further. So far, nobody has.